18 over 25 minus 9 over 25. 18 over 25 minus 9 over 25 equals 9 over 25. 15 over 18 minus 6 over 18. 15 over 18 minus 6 over 18 equals 1/2. 15 over 12 minus 8 over 12. 15 over 12 minus 8 over 12 equals 7 over 12. 14 over 10 minus 6 over 10. 14 over 10 minus 6 over 10 equals 4/5. 15 over 20 minus 7 over 20. 15 over 20 minus 7 over 20 equals 2/5. 13 over 15 minus 4 over 15. 13 over 15 minus 4 over 15 equals 3/5. 6/7 minus 2/7. 6/7 minus 2/7 equals 4/7. 16 over 17 minus 10 over 17. 16 over 17 minus 10 over 17 equals 6 over 17. 7 minus 3.5. 7 minus 3.5 equals 3.5. 10 over 12 minus 8 over 12. 10 over 12 minus 8 over 12 equals 1/6. 8 over 14 minus 6 over 14. 8 over 14 minus 6 over 14 equals 1/7. 12 over 25 minus 7 over 25. 12 over 25 minus 7 over 25 equals 1/5. 9/8 minus 5/8. 9/8 minus 5/8 equals 1/2. 18 over 24 minus 10 over 24. 18 over 24 minus 10 over 24 equals 1/3. 15 over 16 minus 7 over 16. 15 over 16 minus 7 over 16 equals 1/2. 3 and 7/9 minus 1 and 2/9. 3 and 7/9 minus 1 and 2/9 equals 2 and 5/9. 10 and 1/8 minus 5 and 5/8. 10 and 1/8 minus 5 and 5/8 equals 4.5. 7 and 3/4 minus 6 and 1/4. 7 and 3/4 minus 6 and 1/4 equals 1.5. 5 and 1/8 minus 2 and 5/8. 5 and 1/8 minus 2 and 5/8 equals 2.5. 7 and 1/3 minus 6 and 2/3. 7 and 1/3 minus 6 and 2/3 equals 2/3. 9 and 5/6 minus 4 and 2/6. 9 and 5/6 minus 4 and 2/6 equals 5.5. 7 and 2/3 minus 6 and 1/3. 7 and 2/3 minus 6 and 1/3 equals 1 and 1/3. 5 and 2/5 minus 1 and 1/5. 5 and 2/5 minus 1 and 1/5 equals 4 and 1/5. 9 and 2/3 minus 7 and 1/3. 9 and 2/3 minus 7 and 1/3 equals 2 and 1/3. 6 and 1/4 minus 5 and 3/4. 6 and 1/4 minus 5 and 3/4 equals 1/2. 8 and 2/5 minus 4 and 4/5. 8 and 2/5 minus 4 and 4/5 equals 3 and 3/5. 6 and 1/3 minus 4 and 2/3. 6 and 1/3 minus 4 and 2/3 equals 1 and 2/3. 9 and 3/4 minus 5 and 1/4. 9 and 3/4 minus 5 and 1/4 equals 4 and a half. 4 and 1/10 minus 9/10. 4 and 1/10 minus 9/10 equals 3 and 1/5. 5 and 5/8 minus 3 and 5/8. 5 and 5/8 minus 3 and 5/8 equals 2. 7 and 5/6 minus 2 and 2/6. 7 and 5/6 minus 2 and 2/6 equals 5 and a half. 10 minus 4 and a half. 10 minus 4 and a half equals 5 and a half. 4 and 2/5 minus 1 and 4/5. 4 and 2/5 minus 1 and 4/5 equals 2 and 3/5. 8 and 4/9 minus 1 and 5/9. 8 and 4/9 minus 1 and 5/9 equals 6 and 8/9. 3 and 1/7 minus 6/7. 3 and 1/7 minus 6/7 equals 2 and 2/7. 2 and 1/13 minus 10/13. 2 and 1/13 minus 10/13. 2 and 1/13 minus 10/13 equals 1 and 4/13. 1 and 2/11 minus 4/11. 1 and 2/11 minus 4/11 equals 9/11. 5 and 3/8 minus 4 and 1/8. 5 and 3/8 minus 4 and 1/8 equals 1 and 1/4. 4 and 5/6 minus 1 and 3/6. 4 and 5/6 minus 1 and 3/6 equals 3 and 1/3. 9/10 minus 4/10. 9/10 minus 4/10 equals 1/2. 9 and 9/10 minus 8 and 1/10. 9 and 9/10 minus 8 and 1/10 equals 1 and 4/5. 3 and 1/5 minus 4/5. 3 and 1/5 minus 4/5 equals 2 and 2/5. 1 and 9/13 minus 12/13. 1 and 9/13 minus 12/13 equals 10/13. 8 and 7/12 minus 5/12. 8 and 7/12 minus 5/12 equals 8 and 1/6. 3 and 4/6 minus 5/6. 3 and 4/6 minus 5/6 equals 2 and 5/6. 3 and 1/16 minus 9/16. 3 and 1/16 minus 9/16 equals 2 and a half. 7/12 minus 5/12. 7/12 minus 5/12 equals 1/6. 13/22 minus 2/22. 13/22 minus 2/22 equals 1/2. 7 and a half minus 3/2. 7 and a half minus 3/2 equals 6. 8 minus 2/12. 8 minus 2 over 12 equals 7 and 5/6.